Hello everybody, if you're new here, hi, my name is Bash Harry. This is the Harry Knit. We do a lot of fiber arts and knitting, as you can probably tell by the channel name. I have a video which is kind of like a sequel to a previous video that I made, which was about the knitting tools and gadgets you don't need. This is the one where I'm like, these are the knitting tools you do need, or at least what I need over the past year or two that I've accumulated, and then I'm like, okay, this is great. This has helped me a lot. Obviously, I've purchased these over the past few years and they've really helped me out, but if you're a beginner, you do not need any of these. Maybe one or two, but like not all of them combined. This has just helped me with my knitting journey and what I usually use on a day-to-day, weekly basis. If you have any knitting tools that you want or you need, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. This is the video sequel to what you don't need, which I filmed a while back. You can see it on the channel here somewhere if you want to watch that before watching this one. It is a little dark right now. I think it's gonna rain, which is why I have like all my lights on, and I don't think it's helped at all, but it's okay. We are gonna get through this before the rain starts, so let's just get started. The first thing that I want to talk about, which is my knitting essential, is my needle set. I did put this in my non-essentials for you as a beginner, but for me, this has quite literally, not literally, but hyperbolically changed my life. I really love this Knit Pro set. It comes from 3.5 millimeter to I think 12 millimeter, and these have been so great in my arsenal. It came with all these needles, it came with the cables, and then it came with the little hook thing to put it all together, and I absolutely adore it. This was probably one of my more expensive purchases. I think it was like 89 to 129 quid. So in Brunei dollar, that was about, I want to say $140 to $200, and it was very expensive, but I am not gonna lie, I think it is definitely worth the money. I used to have like a bunch of circular needles and really small interchangeable needles that I purchased here and there, but because I lost them for a little bit, I was just not in the knitting mood, and then I finally bought these, and then I'm back to my knitting groove. This is really great. There are multiple different types of needle sets that you can get. I personally do not like metal needles that much. I prefer wood. So this has been a really great purchase for me personally. I like wood. I like knitting with wood. I think bamboo is really nice to work with. I'm okay with plastic, although I don't use it as much anymore, especially ever since I got these. And yeah, I love my Knit Pro needle set. This is not sponsored, by the way. If it was, great, but it's not. I just really love this product. I really love what it does. I really love how it helps me. Obviously, there are much cheaper alternatives, but I purchased these because I wanted something that had a wide range of sizes, and that was the best for what I saw on Wool Warehouse, which was where I could find a lot of the places. That was the one that I found at Wool Warehouse that spoke to me the most in terms of price and in terms of quality. This was at the time when I was still working full-time, so I did have some disposable income to invest in these needles. I wouldn't recommend getting them if you're just starting out. I think I reiterated that point in the previous video, but right now it was something that I really did need, and I'm very happy with my purchase. Another thing that I recommend is getting a gauge ruler, specifically this one. I don't have it with me right now, it's upstairs, too lazy to get it. But I've had this gauge ruler for years. I think it's been like in my stash for the past 10 years and I still use it. It's a ruler, but it's also a needle measurer, and it's also a cutter, and it's also a gauge ruler, and then a regular ruler, and I love it so much. It's like it does 4 things in one. It's simple, it's easy. I think it was very cheap as well. It was probably like $5 to $6 at the time that I purchased it at Michael's when I was visiting the US for the first time. And it was incredible. I really loved it. And it's such a minor essential. Like you didn't really think, because you can get scissors, you can get rulers, you can get your own gauge like ruler, but it was like a 4-in-1. that I absolutely love, and I'm not gonna stop using it anytime soon. It has gone with me through many travels, and to this day I don't think I'm gonna buy another one because it's incredible. And then another thing that I can't live without, and this is a relatively new purchase, which are knitting noodles. This is the one that I got from Yarning Hearts, I believe. Oh, I have some stitch markers in there. These are the ones that I got from Yarning Hearts in Singapore. And they're just plastic little things. They're not particularly fancy or anything. At first, I didn't know whether or not they were worth it. I purchased it because I saw Friday Knits talk about them, and she uses it, and then I tried using it and I was like, oh, it's okay. But then I got some more when I was at Bendigo. This is from 11T1 Windmills, and this one is a set of 5. One that's 150 centimeters, 2 60 centimeters, and 2 40 centimeters. And what I realized is I tend to, especially when I'm designing stuff, a lot of the times I have to rip back projects up. It's really annoying, especially if you work so hard on the project. However, these have been such a lifesaver when it comes to working on new designs, especially knowing that I'm going to be pulling back some projects. And there was one project in particular where I was not really enjoying the design, and because I didn't add this, I had to rip everything up and start again. It was very devastating. So these have been a lifesaver for me personally as a knitwear designer who keeps ripping back patterns over and over again. These have been so great to use. I don't know whether or not you need them. I think as an alternative, you can use yarn. Like I use a lot of loose yarn whenever I'm working on a project that's like just a regular whip and I just want to hold something just to check the measurements on my body. But in terms of design, these have been great because they're plastic. I don't need to worry about any acrylic yarn getting caught or anything getting caught in the stitches if I've ever used a yarn that was like wool or the complete opposite of the fabric that I was working on at the time. I have nothing else to say. These are just absolutely amazing. But these are like a recent find that I've been really enjoying. And yeah, they have saved my life many a time. Another thing that is an oldie but a goodie is your trusty ball winder. This one, I have had it in my arsenal for a long time and I'm pretty sure it's on its last leg. You can see that there's like some bits and pieces falling off, but you know what? It still works, it's still good, and I've had it for years. This has been so great to work with whenever I'm knitting into a skein or like a ball of yarn. It has been great. It makes it a lot more accessible, and I've had it for a long time. It doesn't do quite big yarns, I've noticed, so if it's a 200-gram ball, probably wouldn't be able to fit this. I have to cut it in half and then just like work on it there. But this has been really great to use over the past decade or so. I might get a new one in the future because this is definitely very old, but you know, for right now, I really enjoy it. I really like it. I cannot complain. And then on top of that, something that I would definitely recommend is a yarn Swiffer. Swiffer? I used to use this one. This is just the umbrella one that I got from Shopee. My mom got it for me as a birthday gift and it's fine, but this is not the one I would actually recommend, especially if you really want to wind up your skeins. When I was in Melbourne, I was going to Maker. I saw one of the shopkeepers winding a skein or a hank into a ball, and she was using this yarn Swiffer. And I was like, do you sell that? And she was like, yeah. And then I was like, can I buy it? And they were like, yeah. So I got it. It's the Cowgru yarn Swiffer. It doesn't look like this. It comes with wood. And I've tried it a couple of times. I really love it. Definitely makes me want to wind more yarn. And I think it's a lot more intuitive, especially for the user or the knitter, because it comes with this like measurement stick area, so you can see how wide the skein size is, and it goes up to 62 inches, goes down to 33 inches, and it has been surprisingly effective. I did not realize that. With the umbrella that I got 2 years ago, you kind of have to eyeball it. And I notice a lot of the yarn tends to fall off. It's the last few yards, it tends to fall off, and it's really, really annoying. And I also like that the ChiaoGoo yarn Swiffer is planted on a table instead of being attached like this umbrella Swiffer. This is definitely a cheaper alternative, but honestly, I would just recommend to invest in the bigger ChiaoGoo or anything similar. I know that Knit Pro has like an umbrella Swiffer. That was definitely one item that I was really insistent on getting a couple of years back. But then I refrained, and then a couple of years later, go to last month, I bought myself the ChiaoGoos. Do not regret it. It was about 90 Australian dollars, which is about 90 Brunei dollars as well. And I really like it. I have used it a couple of times. I really enjoy it. And I have no comments, no thoughts, just vibes, really good vibes. Another thing that has been my knitting essential, which I think is very basic. Obviously, you want your stitch markers, your needle pointers, those are your standards, but I would highly recommend getting a case like this. This is a portable case. I think it was for beads, but I took it from my mom's room years ago, maybe like a decade or two ago. And I've been using this to store all my knitting notions and tools on the go, so it's easy for me to like pick up and bring around. This specifically, I would recommend, is just a container. Containers are great. They're amazing. Get as many containers as you can. I will definitely expand my containers. I'll probably go to the hobby store and buy some more for myself, simply because with the amount that I do have, I don't think I could fit everything in here. And so I'm probably going to get more containers as I go along. This video is just me raving about small, simple things that really help a knitter's life. And a case like this, 100% would go for. I think these are about like $3, and they're so cheap, they're so effective, and I love it so much. This video is going pretty smoothly, I would consider. We're on to the last item that I want to talk about. And it's really silly how it's taken me this long to finally get one for myself. It is, drumroll please, a kitchen scale. It is the simplest thing. I have it in my house, and yet for some reason I didn't think to get one for myself until like 2 months ago. And the reason why is I need to weigh my yarn, obviously. I need to split my yarns and just measure them in grams, yes. Weigh my garments, yada, 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 all things. A kitchen scale has been so important for that. And I have been using a kitchen scale. It's just the kitchen scale that I've been using in the kitchen. And then I would just leave it in my room, and it pisses everyone off because I keep forgetting it because I need to make my coffee. My mom, my family needs it. So I decided to invest in a kitchen scale for myself. This is about $20. It's nothing special, and yet it works so well. It's an electronic kitchen scale. It's pretty decent, not gonna lie. It's just your average kitchen scale, but it helps me a lot whenever I am working on a pattern or I need to weigh how many grams I have left. It has been wonderful. Get one for yourself, for your own room. I'm just saying. Because yeah, it gets kind of annoying to work on your own kitchen scale. And also I feel like it's a health thing. It's probably safe enough to get your own bowl for your knitting and not use like your kitchen scale in the kitchen where there's food. I feel like that's a health violation waiting to happen. And then a final thing that I want to add on, which is not a physical item, it is a digital, is a yarn database. I know Ravelry has one. I know they have one. And I use it occasionally, but it's not updated. My Ravelry is not great when it comes to my yarn stash. But what I do instead is I use Google Sheets. So the one that I use is by Friday Knits. She has a database Google Sheets for like $7 Australian, and I've been using that to calculate, measure my yarn. I was thinking of doing one myself, but then I thought about it and I was like, I know how to use Google Sheets, but I don't know how to use it well enough to really do all of this with Excel and Google Sheets and the calculations and the formulas. It's very confusing. And so she made one, and this is just me raving about the yarn database. It's so interesting, it's so intuitive, and it's so user-friendly. I really enjoy using it and being able to think about my own colors, calculate all the yarn, all of it is there in the database. If you purchase it, you know what I mean. I can't really explain it fully. I just really enjoy it. I think it's helped me a lot with organizing my yarn stash, and if I do need to purchase some more yarn, it's very easy for me to calculate using the kitchen scale how much yarn I have, put in the information, and it's nice to see like a view of everything. So I can see how much fingering I have, I can see how much meterage I have in this particular yarn, or if these two yarns have similar fiber material. So I can see if it's like 85% merino, 15% nylon, or if this yarn is cotton, yada, yada, yada. I think that has been really, really great, and then I don't have to keep the little papers that come with the yarn. I could just throw them away once I'm done with the yarn. Although I will say I do not throw away the information, I usually try to keep it. But yeah, that is a very good, very high praise for that database. I will leave it in the description down below if I remember to keep it. Anyway, I think that's about it from me. Those are all my knitting essentials. This is a very short and sweet video. I say short and sweet, but it's like 18 minutes or something that I've been filming. I think that is it. Let me know if you have any knitting essentials that you have. But if you like this video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Bash Harry. This is the Harry Knit. It's gonna start raining. I will see you guys later. Bye.